Only me. Right, came across this Project Iceworm. It was a top secret United States Army program of the Cold War which aimed to build a network of mobile nuclear missile launch sites under the Greenland ice sheet. The ultimate objective of placing medium-range missiles under the ice, close enough to strike targets within the Soviet Union. But this was all kept undercover by a project known as Camp Century, which was launched in 1960. So the official purpose of Camp Century, explained by the United States Department of Defence to the Danish, was to test various construction techniques under Arctic conditions, explore practical problems with a semi-mobile nuclear reactor, as well as supporting scientific experiments on the ice cap. A total of 21 trenches were covered with arched roofs, within which prefabricated buildings were erected, with a total of 3,000 metres, nearly 2 miles or something. These tunnels contained a hospital, a shop, a theatre and a church. The number of inhabitants were around 200. 1960 until 1963, the electricity was supplied by the world's first mobile portable nuclear reactor. Water was supplied by melting glaciers and tested to determine whether germs such as the plague were present. So this was Camp Century, and that's what they were apparently doing. But wait till I find this wee bit again. I always lose these wee bits. Right. So within 3 years after it was excavated, ice core samples taken by geologists working at Camp Century demonstrated that the glacier was moving much faster than anticipated and would destroy the tunnels and planned launch stations in about 2 years. The facility was evacuated in 1965 and the nuclear generator removed. Project Iceworm was cancelled and Camp Century closed in 1966. The proposed size of this complex was 52,000 square miles, roughly 3 times the size of Denmark. And new tunnels were to be dug every year. So after 5 years there would be thousands of firing positions, among which several hundred missiles could be rotated. So this came across when investigation into a 1968 crash. Wait to show you. There was this crash that happened in 1968 near Thule Air Base in the Danish territory of Greenland. The aircraft was carrying 4 B-28 F-1, I don't know what these bombs are. Bombs anyway, right? An alert mission over Baffin Bay when a cabin fire forced the crew to abandon the aircraft before they could carry out an emergency landing. 6 crew members ejected safely, but 1 did not have an ejection seat, which was killed while trying to bail out. The bomber crashed onto sea ice in the North Star Bay, causing the conventional explosives aboard to detonate and the nuclear payload to rupture and disperse, which resulted in radioactive contamination. So the United States and Denmark launched a clean-up and recovery operation. And one of the second stage of the nuclear weapons couldn't be accounted for after the operation was completed. So these Chrome Dome operations were discontinued immediately. Anyway, in 1995, A political scandal resulted in Denmark after a report revealed the government had given tacit permission for nuclear weapons to be located in Greenland. Workers involved in the clean-up programme had been campaigning for compensation for radiation-related illnesses they experienced in the years after the incident. Anyway, I'll let you read that and blah blah blah. So, details of this missile-based project were secret for decades, but first came to light in January during an inquiry by the Danish Foreign Policy Institute into the history of the use and storage of nuclear weapons in Greenland. The inquiry was ordered by the Kingdom of Denmark following the previously classified information about the 1968 flight. So over the years, with the ice melting and then hardening up, melting again, it causes tunnels and trenches to narrow, eventually leading to collapse of the ceiling. By 1962, the ceiling of the reactor room within Camp Century had dropped and had to be lifted 5 feet. During a planned reactor shutdown for maintenance in late July 1963, the Army decided to operate Camp Century as a summer camp only and did not reactivate the reactor. The camp resumed operation in 1964 using its standby diesel power plant. The portable reactor was removed that summer and the camp was abandoned altogether in 1966. So they go into this wee bit at the end. When the camp was decommissioned in 1967, its infrastructure and waste were abandoned under the assumption they would be entombed forever. Okay, a 2016 study found that the portion of the ice sheet covering Camp Century will start to melt. When the ice melts, the camp's infrastructure, as well as remaining biological, chemical and radioactive waste, will re-enter the environment and potentially disrupt nearby ecosystems. This includes 200,000 litres of diesel, PCBs and radioactive waste. So, good old America done all this right under the noses, Greenland and Denmark. I was only going to show this wee bit. Camp Century here, Project Iceworm, and your plane crash site. It was down this area somewhere. Just a couple of pictures of the Camp Century. You go try and find some and they all look the same ones, you know. A plan view of Camp Century. Your theatre and your chapel, your library. Ooh, a sewage collection tank. Some say that gives you your electricity and power. That's another thing I need to look into. Your hot waste and all the rest of it. Right, that'll do me for now. Thanks for watching. See you later. Cheerio.